I'm Marissa Kilgore, and I'm discussing the Austin nonprofit Emancipet and their Chief Operations Officer, Gretchen Nelson, for my presentation for Leadership in Nonprofit Organizations at the University of Houston downtown. Emancipet was founded in 1999. Their mission is to make spay and neuter services and preventative care affordable and accessible to all pet owners. They work towards this mission through expanding their network of low-cost clinics, training and supporting other clinics, and advocating for safe and accessible spay-neuter in every community. Emancipet began as a way to stem the pet overpopulation problem in Austin, Texas. It leads to increased numbers going into the shelter. The increased numbers of pets in the shelter leads to more euthanasias. There are many reasons that people surrender their animals to the shelter. The most common reason is unwanted litters due to their pets not being spayed and neutered. The second most common reason is for pets being stray. The most common reason for pets being stray is that they're out looking for a mate. Once the pets are in the shelter, animals are either adopted to a new family or euthanized. Half of our nation's homeless and lost pets are adopted. The other half are killed, making shelter euthanasia a leading cause of preventable death for dogs and cats in the United States. Emancipet saw an opportunity to make an impact by offering low-cost spay and neuter. They started small, running a single spay and neuter mobile clinic a few days a week. The first year, they spayed and neutered 5,000 pets in Austin. In 2001, they contracted with the City of Austin to provide free services for areas of Austin known to have a higher rate of intake for strays and owner surrenders due to unwanted litters and the higher cost of veterinary care. In 2005, their first brick-and-mortar building allowed for increased capacity. The clinic was a former school for the deaf and was retrofitted to make a clinic and leased from the city for $1 a year. In 2009, after 10 years of being in business, Emancipet had spayed and neutered 100,000 pets. They moved locations to a new modular building that also increased capacity. All the while, they operated the mobile hospital to address the needs of surrounding towns with no affordable options, whose animals often ended up in Austin's animal shelter. On the weekends, the mobile unit has continued to provide free spay and neuter to the residents of the City of Austin and Travis County. In 2011, they added a second mobile clinic and expanded their service area to include 7 counties, the entire Central Texas region. In 2012, they purchased a large third wheel in order to put it in Killeen to decide if they had enough business in order to merit a brick-and-mortar facility there. In 2013, they expanded to Pflugerville, Texas, which is a suburb outside of Austin. In Pflugerville, since 2013, they've spayed and neutered nearly 4,000 pets. In 2014, there's talks of them expanding to other cities, including Philadelphia, New Orleans, and Houston. Emancipet has enjoyed a great amount of success as a nonprofit in Austin. That is due undoubtedly to their dedicated team and unwavering culture. They are a model for clinics nationwide and are an inspiration here at home. Gretchen Nelson, Emancipet's Chief Operations Officer since 2012, has a huge role in this by competently standardizing procedures and assuring that each clinic operates under Emancipet's core values. Gretchen was born and raised in Nebraska. She began her career as an archaeologist and has her master's degree in anthropology. She has some distinct qualities that fit in with Emancipet's culture and that led to her being hired on as COO. I had the opportunity to talk to her and was able to find out firsthand why Emancipet is so successful. Like in the quintessential leadership book, Good to Great by Jim Collins, Mrs. Nelson talked about getting the right people on the bus. Emancipet's culture is such that deviations are dealt with quickly, so as not to disrupt the balance. She mentioned that culture takes time and open-mindedness. She advised to go into culture building with a positive intent and keep in mind the greater good of the staff and the mission. Gretchen believes in coaching, not managing. She uses her skills to coach staff to come up with their own answers, resulting in an increased buy-in because employees feel heard, like they are a part of the organization, not just hired worker bees. She believes that attracting staff to listen and follow the cultural leanings has a lot to do with the listening skills of upper management. If disagreement with staff member arises, she takes the time to get to know the person. She asks questions to find out why they think a certain way, and she asks pointed questions looking for clues as to how to lead them to understanding why things are a certain way. She says it's not that no one should disagree. Good leaders do not have followers who follow all the time, but staff need to have faith in upper management. The whole foundation of the organization is based on trust. When talking about motivation and how Nelson motivates her team to accomplish the goals of the organization, she admits to taking the goofball approach. She motivates through humor. The mission has a lot of sadness surrounding it. There's no denying it. And that in itself is not a motivating factor. According to Nelson, it's important to be positive and optimistic. That being said, she is still dedicated to the mission, and admittedly, staff do not always get what they want. But they're always heard. To Gretchen, the most important values for her as a leader in the Emancipet culture are open-mindedness when dealing with staff, contemporaries, and changes within the organization, optimism, and trust. Leaders should provide excellent customer service to their staff, and that will lead to a sense of security and ultimately to getting more of the right people on the bus. Cultural ethics at Emancipet run strong. Employees and leaders must be steadfast in their convictions. They must be honest and loyal to the organization and show a developed personal judgment. But how does Emancipet find the right people to put on the bus? They have an extensive hiring practice that starts as basically a cattle call. They invite interested candidates to a hiring orientation. During this event, they go over in detail the mission, vision, and culture of the organization. They make it clear who they are looking for, and they mince no words. At the end, they ask for all interested parties to stay and fill out an application. Through this process, they have weeded out any potentials who don't get it, or who don't want to. Simultaneously, management has been observing the orientation, and unbeknownst to the applicants, taking notes on their behavior and intensity level. Were you talking during the presentation? Checking your phone? Staring at the ceiling? Then Emancipet's probably not for you, and they're probably not going to call you back. According to Nelson, Emancipet is always seeking diversity in skills, interests, and backgrounds, both personal and professional. They're also looking for chemistry. After all, your staff are your ambassadors to the world, and especially to your clients. The economy in Austin has generated the need for a change. The landscape has changed, which has led to a shift in demographics and the socioeconomic landscape. Emancipet has continuously collected data to expose opportunities for impact. The mobile locations for free days and days out of town have changed and expanded, and the demand in previously busy locations has dwindled. They have tested and opened clinics in markets around Austin and are looking to expand further. Nelson's advice for growing an organization? Always measuring and collecting data to support the changes an organization needs to make the focus on what they should be doing. It is important to always keep the mission specific and avoid the temptation of trying to do a million different things and foster many types of programs. Instead, seek to collaborate with organizations who are already in place. Working together can often make a greater impact, as shared skills and resources can lead to greater outreach. Think about ways in which you can meet the needs of your clients and stay within your mission. It's not unusual for organizations to have ups and downs. What's important is that you pay attention to and learn from your failures. What does Gretchen consider her biggest failure? Not trusting her instincts. I'm sure we can all relate to that. As for mistakes she sees other nonprofit organizations make, She says it's their overzealous hearts. Many people in the nonprofit sector, she explains, are nurturers. They are people who just want to help. It's a spirit inherent to those who choose to serve. But not all help is good help. Wasting resources on ideas that do not serve the mission throws organizations off track and allows them to lose sight of their true purpose. Often these organizations are obsessed with service and forget to pay attention to the business aspect of things. What they need to realize is that the more money they can get, the more effective their programs are, and the greater impact on their community. In conclusion, Emancipat seems to be a model nonprofit organization that we can all learn from. It begins with their strict adherence to cultural standards and ends with their tireless dedication to mission and the wherewithal to learn from their mistakes. Emancipat Spay and Neuter Clinic is an organization worth talking about, and they're coming soon to a town near you.